I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great, thanks everybody for coming out. Our council activity reports. I had a community ed advisory council meeting the other day. Nothing earth-shattering coming out of there. Community ed continues to do a pretty good job finding different things for people in the community to do. Fire department budget meeting the other night, and then just a reminder that we will be going into closed session towards the end of the meeting to discuss an offer on real property located at 122 Washburn Avenue in Painesville. That's my report. Council Member LeBeau.
I had a budget and finance board meeting, the Park and Tree Board, and then also attended the fire department budget meeting as well.
All right. Councilmember Hertzberg.
The finance meeting, the fire department fall meeting, and just got done with public works.
Just got done with public works, just in time. All right, then we, Councilmember Hickey.
Yeah, it's been a quiet few weeks for me, but I did go to the fire department fundraiser a few weeks ago. That was a great dinner with a good turnout. So.
Excellent. And Councilmember Gilmore.
I went to a liquor board meeting and the Park and Tree.
Okay. All right, thank you. Then we have before us the consent agenda, which are the minutes of those bunch of meetings listed on page 1 off our update there. The vouchers totaling $1,418,481.71. And then a request for Mr. Melhock to go to the 2019 fall seminar IBC training in Redwood Falls, and that is the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Hertzberg, seconded by LeBeau to approve the consent agenda. Discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? That carried. All right, then I see Anne Marie is here. Anne Marie Stevens has requested to address the council, so the podium is yours. And just a reminder to be sure that everybody signed in so we get the record correct. Right.
All right, good evening, City Council members. Thank you for allowing me the time to speak with you this evening. I'm here on behalf of myself, my husband George Stevens, Thomas and Noel Pearson, and many residents that have signed a petition to stop our R1 residential homes from being used as rental units. Just a little history. On Saturday, September 21st, May Maurer Rogers approached my husband, George Stevens, and our neighbor, Thomas Pearson, in our front yard at 422 Wendell Street. She proceeded to tell them that she had tried to buy the house at 416 Wendell Street, but the mortgage company would not sell it to her because it was zoned as a single-family residential home. May said she had a friend purchase the home so she could rent it to 10 to 12 people from her recovery program. She also stated that we could call her any time of the day when there was trouble, or we could call the police when there was trouble. This was our first red flag and immediately made us feel unsafe in our own neighborhood. Our second red flag came from the City Council meeting on September 23rd, when Jana King spoke about the negative behaviors associated with the rental units in our downtown area. Noel Pearson and I immediately sent emails to the city administrator, the mayor, and all the council members. We told you of our concerns and asked many questions. Noel received no response from any of you on her first email. I did get one email from Renee Eckerly that she had received my email, and I did receive an email from Council Member LeBeau that said she understood my concern on this issue and she believed the city attorney was looking into it. Other than those two pieces of communication, we have had nothing else from the council. Again, another red flag. As council members, I believe communication is an important part of your job. As residents of the city, we feel the communication has been very poor so far. From our understanding, an R1 single-family residential district permits the development of single-family dwellings to avoid overcrowding and to prohibit the use of land which would be incompatible with or detrimental to the essential residential character of such district. The permitted uses are 1, single and 2-family dwellings, number 2, public parks and playgrounds, number 3, essential services, and number 4, agriculture other than raising and keeping livestock. It also states no structure for an accessory use such as boarding or renting rooms to not more than 2 persons. After being very concerned about hearing that 10 to 12 people would live in this home, we were told by the city administrator that May can now have up to 5 people in this home, which we feel is a contradiction to the zoning laws. So I have a list of questions, and this is what members, residents, people around Wendell Street and other parts are looking for some answers from you. So 1, we are aware that May does not own this house, but she leases it and does not live there. How can she then be allowed to rent rooms or have roommates? How did you determine that she could have 5 renters? We do not see this number stated in the zoning laws. Another question, who would go and monitor how many people are living in the home? How often would the occupancy be checked? And lastly, how will the public be notified of a public forum? We've heard word of this, that there will be a public forum. When? How much notice will you provide us as to when and where the forum will be? We are hoping that many of our questions would be answered at this public forum. So the people in an R1 district purposely purchased our homes in an R1 zone. We purchased them there so we could raise our families amongst single-family dwellings. Our homes are our biggest investments. And when you do not follow zoning regulations, this can produce a negative effect towards our investments. Obviously, cities have zoning regulations for a reason, so why wouldn't you follow them? In conclusion, the residents that have signed this petition are not in favor of allowing R1 zoned homes to be used as rental units. We are concerned that people have been allowed to move into this house before these questions and issues have been resolved. We feel that by allowing this to happen at 416 Wendell Street, you will set a precedent in which the city will then be unable to defend zoning laws for single-family neighborhoods. We are asking for answers to our questions with direct communication from Mayor Thompson and City Administrator Eckerly. Thank you for allowing me to express our concerns, and thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Jeff, would it be appropriate just to say a few things in
Yes,
response?
yes, and I was going to defer to our city attorney here because,
I don't want to get too far ahead of the process here, but I'm not trying to make this a secret. I think I talked to your husband over the phone several weeks ago, and I think I explained some of this, but maybe not, apparently not very clearly. Notwithstanding local zoning regulations, the federal government in its wisdom has some rules related to housing that protect people with disabilities. In those federal regulations, the definition of persons with disabilities is broad and clearly encompasses people who are chemically dependent, either alcohol or drugs. And so they have some special protections that allows them to be in R1 zoning, that irregardless of what your local zoning says, you have to deal with those issues. You can't just say, no, you absolutely can't be there. Unfortunately, that's not the way it works. Our rules, I think, as I would read them, would say you could have 5 unrelated individuals living in a house. And you know, what we're looking at is somebody who wants to have more than that. And the question is, in the council, I don't get a vote on any of this, but I get to advise the council and I will. But, you know, they have to decide what's a reasonable number. And so at some point, there's going to be a hearing. I'd like to assure you that you'd get at least, you know, I would think at least 10 days' notice. We'll try. I mean, I don't know. We're not going to call the meeting the day before or something like that. I think there's going to be some notice, and so, but there's some things that have to be worked through. There's been some communication that came to me. I responded. I haven't got anything back yet. So there's things happening, and I think the council is not unsympathetic to your concerns, but they also have to follow the law. They don't have a choice, and so there's some parameters that I think they can work within, but I think it's probably not possible to just say no. So that's about as far as I want to go with it right now, but I didn't want to leave you without anything. So I don't know if that's helpful, but.
Thank you. It is actually very helpful to hear that.
Bill, do you want to tell them where the 5 came? It's in the definitions?
Yeah, the definition of.
Yeah, I mean, that's in the beginning of the zoning ordinance in the definition of family. You may have seen that, but that, I mean, I know it's your heartfelt position that shouldn't include a rental, but we do have a lot of rentals throughout this community in residential neighborhoods. They're not for that kind of a use, but we have a lot of rentals to families and to individuals in our community that are in R1, and I think we'd be, we'd be going back against years and years of precedent if we all of a sudden said, you can't rent out your single-family house. I mean, I think we have a lot of older people whose families rent their homes, and there's a lot of that goes on, but, so. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Bill. And the council has wanted to be sure that we do everything legally and above board, and to come with a consolidated answer to all the questions, not piecemeal.
And this is one of those situations where, you know, I mean, we don't want this to drag on forever, but we don't want to go so fast that we get ourselves in trouble. And we might end up in litigation over it anyway, you know, and then it might go on for a long time. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But maybe we can reach a compromise that everybody can live with, and maybe we won't.
Okay, thank you. All right, then
Does the town get paid for this too?
this is not a public hearing. This is a council meeting.
Well, I
Yep.
was just wondering, I heard that.
We'll move on to item B, the fire department DNR matching grant. They have applied for a matching grant and have been awarded the matching grant.
Oh, you're welcome.
And is that $5,000 if I recall right? For,
It would be used for radios.
yep, for radios, and the remaining $6,349.80
Yep.
to come out of the fire department small equipment fund.
Yep, that is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the 2020 Minnesota DNR Volunteer Fire Assistant Matching Grant with a $6,349.80 coming from the Fire Department Small Equipment Fund.
I'll second.
Motion by Gilmore, seconded by LeBeau to approve the 2020 Minnesota DNR Volunteer Fire System Matching Grant. Discussion, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, none, that carried. And coming up to one of our favorite meetings here is the local board of appeal, and looking to set that for Thursday, April 16th, 2020 at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. And I got notice today that I got my sign in for the training. So,
Oh, okay.
So I can do that. And
I'll make the motion to set the local board of appeal and equalization meeting for Thursday, April 16th, 2020 at 6 p.m.
Second.
motion by LeBeau, seconded by Rinky to set that Board of Equalization meeting date for Thursday, April 16th, 2020 at 6 p.m. at City Hall.
Your Honor, I have a question. Sean, were you successful?
Yeah, I sent you everything.
Oh, okay.
You did.
Yeah, I sent you my certificate. I was going to ask if you got it, because I emailed it like a week and a half ago. I can send it again, but it should be there.
Okay, I will check.
Good. And hopefully we'll have 3. Yes. we won't have to- we won't have to
Thanks,
just
you
rely on
guys.
you. All right, we do have a motion and a
Just
second.
haven't fit it in my schedule.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? None? That carried. All right, and the actuarial services or the Fire Department Relief Association
And
and
this,
auditors need.
and your honors, this did go up and you'll be getting one for the city also. But this is due to the changes in GASB, which has made it a lot more expensive for the actuarial study. And so they changed it to more detailed work, so it did go up $500 for the fire department. And there's not a lot of people out there that do actuarials, so
I move to approve the agreement for consulting services regarding to actuarial services for the Fire Relief Association between the City of Painesville and Hildy Incorporated.
I'll second that.
Motion by Rinky, seconded by Gilmore to approve the agreement for consulting services for the Fire Relief Association between the City of Painesville and Hildy Inc. Discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? That carried. And then we have another lease agreement to approve here. Ron?
Yes, thank you. The pilot that's currently in its hangar number 6 is retiring his pilot's license, therefore he will be vacating on October 31st, and Dan Grothy, actually a local resident, will be taking over on November 1st. It is a standard agreement that we have used for a number of years, and it is a north side hangar that is at $100 per month. So,
I'll make the motion to approve the T-Hangar lease agreement between City of Painesville and Dan Grothy of Painesville for hangar number 6, effective November 1, 2019.
I'll second.
Motion by Hertzberg, seconded by LeBeau to approve the T-Hangar lease agreement between the city and Dan Grothy of Painesville for hangar number 6, effective November 1st, 2019. Discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? That carried. Still a waiting list?
there is still a waiting list.
Still a waiting list. That's good. All right, then on to old business, please, oops, not take that. Okay, police and fire wellness plans, page 40. Have you heard anything more?
no,
Okay, and we do have the League of Minnesota Cities regional meeting coming up too on that.
Is there any movement on the employee assistance plans that we were talking about looking into with that?
I have reached out to them, I just haven't gotten a meeting set up with them.
Do we have any idea when that's gonna happen? I just know this has been a couple of months now since this was brought forward, and I believe it was presented even earlier than that for approval, so I just want to make sure this keeps going. So I'm just curious, I know this has been shuffled around in committee now for 2 months, so I'd just like to know where it's at and when we're gonna see some movement on it.
Well, the league's meeting is on,
Next Tuesday.
no,
Wednesday.
Isn't it this week? The league's meeting is Wednesday.
It's this week.
Yeah, the league's meeting is Wednesday, so, I'll schedule the other 2 meetings, hopefully this week also, and we should have something, if schedules work with Jeff and Alicia, on the 28th.
28th, right. And another one that's been bouncing around for a while, purchase speed detecting signs. And got a couple questions answered there. And
I sent,
why? Go ahead.
sorry, Renee an email today. Did you get that email today?
I'm sorry, I was out today.
One of the guys from, it's called TAPCO. We met him at, I think, Duluth. He'll be in town next week, and then his company sells these signs, and he's here. If we can set up a meeting, we can get any questions on any other ideas.
His name is Catco.
Capco.
Company, yeah.
Yeah, the company.
Do you know which date he'll be here? I was just thinking the chief should be here. He's done all the research.
Be in Minnesota Thursday and all of next week if you have some time.
Thursday.
He set it up in his calendar like at 2 o'clock on Thursday. I can reply to him anything, that's why he sent it to you, whoever wants to see this guy, if they want to spend the time and talk to him, we can, and if not,
Thursday at 2?
yeah, we have to email him back.
Thursday of this week? or
Chief,
next week?
does that work for you this Thursday at 2?
This Thursday, yes. Okay.
So I can email him back. Somebody wants to talk to him and see some different things, because this one has been going on for about a year and a half.
Well, I have a concern that it's not in the budget. And Alicia and I on the finance and working on the budget the last 3-4 months, the next 2 years are very, very, very tight. And I don't think we should be doing anything that's not budgeted. This isn't a must-do priority that, like a water main, or it's just,
Just
at the
safety.
end of the day, we're gonna end up getting less police revenue because these signs replace the police enforcing our existing laws.
Right, and it makes people want to move into town if they get tickets every time.
I don't think so. I don't think it has anything to do with that. Price of real estate determines if something's priced right, it sells. And
I'd go on the side of the safety reasons of it.
Let's hear what TAPCO has to say. I'm okay with that.
That works.
If I could, there is one other thing that, I got an email on here, like a week or so ago. There's a new Safe Roads to School grant, that has come open and available. So for some of the locations in town that we were looking at for these signs, that may be an alternative for funding for those, specifically Highway 55 and potentially anything, say by the school there, that we might be able to get some funding for.
Okay.
You guys chose to go that direction.
What is the deadline for that? Do you know?
I think Chuck's probably got a little more information on that program than what I do.
Yeah, typically with the Safe Routes to School, we talked to the school last year about this as well, is, typically to get funds to actually do infrastructure type improvements, you need to have a Safe Routes to School plan completed, and they do fund those plans. So that's typically step one in the process, is getting a grant to do a Safe Routes to School plan. And items such as these could be included in that plan.
It's kind of like to do the crosswalks and so forth going across on the highway and all of that, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we had looked at
Halfway to the school.
We had looked at doing some of the rapid rectangular flashing beacons out by the school, and some of that. That could all be incorporated in that Safe Routes to School plan. But they typically want to see that plan completed before they'll actually fund the infrastructure improvements associated with it.
And is that plan typically put together by the schools then, or is it in conjunction with the city?
It's usually in conjunction between a city. The city can lead the process, or actually the school could lead the process. Either party can lead the process. But it ends up being both of everybody working together.
Okay.
So,
Would that involve the county too and the state, because the one school's on the county highway and
I think,
like Highway 55 is the state
Yeah.
highway? or-
part of the planning process, you would definitely want to involve the state and the county, being that it is on their roads.
Chuck, it wasn't the Safe Routes to School what we were gonna use already for the signs there by the Painesville Apartments? So could we also include these 30-mile-an-hour zone lights in that too?
We had looked at doing the school speed zone out there,
Yeah.
those ones you're talking about?
But we weren't doing these flashing speed lights over by the high school.
No, they weren't in the original, we had developed that sketch, if you
Right,
remember.
I remember what we were doing, but Paul's talking about incorporating the speed flashing 30 mile an hour.
Right, but if there's a way to
Yeah, and that, I think
get
they could
the,
be added
get
into
the
the,
equipment,
yeah.
you know, the signs, you know, and then at some point in time be able to, you know, if they're movable, to move them to where they actually, you know,
Yeah,
are needed.
when that Safe Routes to School plan is put together, as long as they're in that plan, they'd be an eligible item for
Okay.
future funding through the program. But step one is to do the plan, and I will tell you the plans, they usually are completed by, I know Mid-Minnesota Planning or Regional Development Commission does the ones south of here. I can't remember who does them for this area. They're set up with the state to do them. They're not a very quick process, so
Okay.
it's nothing that's gonna be done in a couple months. Because you'd have to apply for the grant, get the planning grant, and go through the process.
And then apply for the grant for the,
And then once the plan's done, you can pursue it. It's not an absolute requirement to have a planning grant, but you actually get points in the funding if you have a Safe Routes to School plan put together.
So what does it take to get that
The
plan?
planning grant is that's a fairly easy
Okay.
grant application.
Do we need a motion to move with that, or do we want to talk about it a while longer?
well, if we're gonna spend any money, but then again, we're spending money that
But we really need to get
is
together.
not budgeted.
Yeah, we could actually talk to the school and come back to the next meeting. I think there's a letter of intent that's due by the end of October if you want to pursue a planning grant, so.
Okay.
Check it out. Okay, then the next item is the AMPI expansion. We have a pay request for that. It's on our update there. Contractor's pay request, $249,603.49. Is that correct there, Mr. DeWolf?
Yes, that is correct. Just to give a quick update, they continue to work on that project. The new force main from the lift station site just north of the tracks out to the new pretreatment facility has been constructed, with the exception of the portion under Highway 23. They're working on that right now. They also will be working down here under the tracks here in the next couple weeks as well. And then they continue to work on the new building out at the wastewater site. So, yeah, as mentioned in your packet is a copy of pay request 3 for the project for work completed during September in the amount of $249,603.49.
I'll make the motion to approve that pay request, AMPI expansion for $249,603.49.
I'll second.
Motion by Hertzberg, seconded by Vogt to approve the pay request on the AMPI wastewater expansion program, $249,603.49. Discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? None? That carried. And our last item is another pay request for the 2019 street improvement project. A little bigger on that one, $609, $590.26.
Yeah, in the 2019 improvement project, they continue to, they're working to finalize underground utilities down in the aquatic addition. They're hoping to have everything down there as far as underground done by the end of this week, and then they'll proceed with getting Burr Street and the service road built back up with curb and gutter and gravel and pave. They will then be moving over to start the storm put the pipe in on the north side of town for the storm sewer portion of the project. As mentioned, there's a pay request number 4 in the packet for work completed in September in the amount of $609,590.26.
I'll make the motion to approve pay estimate number 4 in the amount of $609,590.26 for the 2019 street improvement project.
Second.
There are a couple of seconds. I think Sean was first here, seconded by Rinky. Discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? None? That carried. Nothing else on that? Thank you. And informational, we have the updated October, November meeting schedule, liquor store reports, and the notice of the Stearns County public hearing coming up on Thursday, I believe. Is that correct? Tuesday, yeah. Okay. And that is in regards to a potential solar farm up just to the north and east of town, just before you hit the big Roscoe curve. Is that correct? That's it for informational. Then just a notice that we are going into closed session to discuss an offer on real property located at 122 Washburn Avenue, parcel number 70.390026.0000, lot 12, block 3 of Haynes Edition. And for this, we should have our,
Your Honor?
yep,
He is not here.
I thought I saw him.
Oh, did you?
Thought I saw him when he came in earlier and then left.
Wait, look, I mean, I don't know who I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Justin?
Darker hair, bearded.
Oh, I saw him step in.